I was like tripping on acid. I'd taken a double dip straw, which you could get in the 90s, with a guy called Carl Jung. Yeah, he was Chinese. This is a true story. His father owned a chip shop called Jung's, but he was into Carl Jung and he had a sense of humor. So he said, I'm going to name my son Carl Jung, and everybody will call him Carl Jung. So one of my most intense trips, this was in the book, but they cut it out.
It's not in your book.
No,
because I've read your book.
No, it's not. It was a good story. I took a double dip straw, and it was at Bromborough Woods, and I walked into the woods, and the fairies were disrespected, and Pan came and chased me out of the woods, and I panicked, which is where panic comes from Pan. But I didn't know that myth. I was like 15.
Yes.
But I knew I'd met Pan.
Actually, you didn't know the myth, but your story was the same like the myth.
Right.
Yes.
So it resonates archetypally. And I went home in Bebington, and we lived in this creepy old, it was a flat, but it was an old converted like big house. And they had a carving of Pan in the ground floor. So imagine that. I was still tripping balls. Buzzing the door being like, Mum, can I come in? And then there's this carving, and I was like, it's him, it's Pan. And it was like, I don't think we call him Pan. I think we call him the Green Man, but it's Pan.
Yes. But wait, I don't know if everyone see the same thing actually.
Well, it's not.
I don't think so.
I didn't see him. I didn't see like a dude with horns and a beard.
Yeah, you felt it.
I felt him.
I understand.
And
yes.
I knew when I saw the dude with green horns and a beard, that's a symbol of Pan. But when it
matches your feelings.
Yes, it matched the feelings. Yes. I was like, that's the guy.
Yes.
That's
it. This is what I feel.
Don't fuck with him. And it's the raw sensation of nature and existence unfolding in front of you. But I knew I disrespected the woods because I was supposed to do something and I didn't. I was tripping in his woods, and he did not like that.
You came to his home and you've done a mess.
I disrespected it.
Yes.
And he was like, right, you little fucker. And he scared the shit out of me. And so I tried to go home, and I was walking along the side of the road, and there was cars. And I was like, what the fuck are these snarling animals with eyes and teeth? I was like, oh, fuck. Are they going to eat me? And then I forgot the rules of the road. I couldn't remember whether people say acid isn't dangerous. It's fucking dangerous.
Especially if you're doing it alone.
Alone, yeah.
And you did it alone.
I did it alone. I couldn't remember whether the rule for crossing roads was walk when the cars come or walk when the cars don't come. So I was like, I think it's walk when the cars come. And they fucking got run over by this roaring metal tiger that was like, rawr! And then someone inside of it was
never stops.
Somebody inside of it was furious. It was like, you fucking fucker. And I was like, they're swearing at me. Ah. And then I saw two punks. This is a true story. Two punks with like, which is not normal. It's totally not normal because this is the 90s, not the fucking 70s. I don't know why punks were there. So I walked over to them. I was like,
maybe for the same reason.
Yeah, for the same reason. I was like, I've taken acid. What do I do? And one of them went, oh, I hear if you take vitamin C, it brings you down. So I sat outside the spa opposite the Three Stags in Spittal, and I was just necking orange juice until it ran down my face. And I still remember the feeling of being in my t-shirt and everywhere because I was panicking. I was like, fuck. Vitamin C apparently actually makes your trip worse. So I was like,
just don't do that.
I can't go home because the floor is moving and the trees are screaming and there's fucking steel tigers everywhere. So I went to St. Andrew's Church and started praying. And I was like, oh, God will help me. And then I was like, okay, so do the Lord's Prayer. I was like, Our Father, who art in heaven. And I was like, our Father? Is he everyone's father? Why isn't he here? Why is he in heaven? Where the fuck is heaven? I was like, oh, God. I started freaking out. And I was like,
because you couldn't just.
I couldn't. Everything had like multiple layers of meaning. Didn't before it was like, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." I was like, "Is he here or is he not here? He has a will in heaven and it's not on earth. Who the fuck is this guy? Who are we praying to? Who's here but not here? And we answer to him, but is he absent? Like, where the fuck is he? And then I was freaking out. And then there was like,
this is not helping.
This is not helping at all. And I was like, definitely Jesus is going to come. I was like, just wait, because if you keep saying the Lord's Prayer, Jesus is going to come and he's going to make everything okay. And then across the gravestones, there was like colored lights flashing, and they were like these African symbols everywhere. And then I was like, okay, Jesus is coming. And then I just started getting visions of snakes eating their own tail. And they were like,
oh,
yeah. And I was like, okay.
That's actually interesting.
So then I started saying, where is God? Is God here or not? And they were like, he's long gone. He's long gone. And I was like, well, what is here? Just language. I was like, what's language? A virus. What do you mean a virus? They were like, it's DNA. Language is a virus. Your DNA is a virus. The essence of your reality is a virus. I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. I need to go home. Help me. Like, help me with something. Like, there's no help. There's never been any help. There's just this. And then it repeated because it was snake eating its own tail. I'd start the question again and I'd go down through this logical procession. And then I'd reach the bottom and I was like, there's nothing here. And they'd be like, yeah, that's what we told you. There's nothing here. So I'd start the question again and go back down. But the impression that I got was, that the Lord's Prayer indicates that there's a schism, there's a schizophrenia. There is God and yet not God. And it's right there in the prayer. Because where is he? Like, where's this dude who's apparently our father, which I couldn't wrap my head around because I took it literally. I was like, is he literally everyone's dad? I have a dad. Like, who's fucking, what are we talking about? This is weird.
You couldn't realize like he's a spiritual dad?
I couldn't take anything ironically or symbolically. Everything that was symbolic started to really piss me off.
Yes.
I was like, I don't want
You were ready only for like green is green, black is black, white is white, yellow is yellow. That's it.
If I can't do this experientially, I don't want to know. And that was part of what whoever they is, was taunting me with. Like, this is language, it's symbol. You're pointing at nothing. We're pointing at nothing. And these words point at nothing. And God is pointing at, I was like, don't fucking do this to me, man. You're freaking me out. This is giving me a bad trip. But the visions came from the Garden of Eden. And it was like, this is actually the story of how, because Adam and Eve were like two cats. They were walking around on all fours. They weren't humans with fig leaves on. And they came through experience to evolution. They came to evolve, and their evolution was incredibly traumatically painful. And the evolution of consciousness created a trauma that echoes forwards and backwards through time and is in our DNA. And that's what we experience as pain. There's the pain of existence because it's extremely hard to be self-aware and be a groovy cat. But the cats are cool. That's why in the 60s they call people a groovy cat or a cool cat, because cats are cool. But that's us. That's what we are in our essence. And then there was these other dudes who came along and they were reptiles. And they're not cool, man. They're a bummer. They're a real fucking downer. These are the parasites and the predators. And we're in a fight with them. I wrote all this in the book. It's a shame they took it out. But I was warned the snake is faster than the cat because the cat has a conscience and it thinks and consciousness. But a snake only has reflexes. And I was like, well, how, like, I was still asking, like, how do we beat it? And like, you'll have to figure it out.
Yourself.
You'll all have to figure it out.
No instructions.
No instructions, because you're running out of time. And these things are winning. And they will win, because they're designed to win. I was like, this is not helpful at all. So when
I knew it even before.
yeah, I knew all this before.
I can feel it.
Yeah, so I would like go back, and I did it 10 times, trying to get like some sort of an answer and some sort of a revelation, but I just got more.
It never happened. More pain.
More pain, more questions, and more like, of a sense of living in a fractured world, a fractured reality, which is why I don't think this could be the real reality. I became Gnostic. I became a Bogomil. I became a good Bosnian and started to think this is not the real world. You know, the good Bosnian people who they persecuted, the Catholics persecuted. It's just like, this is not the real world. So we can't have children because you're trapping spirit in matter. And I got really into that for years, man. I was like, wow, yeah, that's the real thing.